Hello and welcome to our podcast, The Ups and Downs of a Small Business Owner, where we hope to show you exactly what it's like to grow a business. Today, I'm here with Lisa and Gail, co-founders of Magnifisense. How would you describe yourselves?
Over to you, Gail.
Thank
Can
you.
start. Oh, okay. Being big sister, that's fine. So we're what we really call a full service event agency. We're coming into our 10th year in June. And predominantly we do conferences, team building and venue finding, all sorts of activities. If somebody wants a land, sea, air treasure hunt, we can do that. Or we can facilitate a small workshop for chocolate making. Everything else in between. So we're basically about creativity as well. So we're trying to bring in wellness as well of late, because we've realised since the dreaded COVID word that a lot of team orientated, whether it's blue chip companies or smaller companies, actually need to get together and not be forced to do anything. You know, the days of, I will show my age, but years ago, it would be a case of doing these horrible games where we'd sit opposite each other like we are now and do a pretend interview. It'd be very stiff and people were sort of dread going. Whereas now it's all about mindfulness, looking after staff's well-being, looking into perhaps how things are going on at home, looking into creating more productivity within the offices and in the space. And of course, people are working hybrid now as well. So the days of everybody in the office have well gone. So yeah, that's generally what we do in this country, in the UK, and also abroad. We do some team incentives if a company's lucky enough and they've got the money, which we know is very tight at the moment for a lot of people. We do rewards and incentives. So maybe it's a sales team of 18 and they'll get to go abroad for a nice long weekend, perhaps put them somewhere where they've not been before, or perhaps they wouldn't necessarily afford. And in some cases, they might even be allowed to take their wives or their children. Yeah, it's a big scope and multifaceted. Over to you, Gail.
I don't think there's really anything left to say about that, is there? Lisa sort of said it all. Say Magnifisense was born because of the creative side and the senses and the workshops that we facilitate too. So we are just more than an event agency. We actually host our own workshops as well. So hence Magnifisense.
But we try to make sure that all of it, because conferencing can be boring. And we all know that there's the magnolia walls with full sweets on the table and pens and pencils. And we want everything from how something tastes, how something looks, how something sounds, with all the idea of the five senses. Even if it's a little team build for 10 people or they're doing an interview day, we really work hard to find the right venue for them. Make it a little bit interesting, make sure that the food's nice, maybe there's, a lovely garden that they can go into at lunchtime, right down to sort of, larger conferences for 100 to 500 full days. That in itself created quite a lot of problems because a lot of hotels don't have 500 bedrooms and space for 500. But they also wanted to an international set of the company. And we ended up doing that in Windsor, didn't we? Because a lot of the international stuff coming over to Windsor. But there's a lot of thought and creativity into what we do. And we always try to make sure that it engages the five senses. Hence our name, Magnificent.
So you're sisters.
Yeah.
And so how did that start? As in not being sisters, being...
So it's us working together. So it started, Lisa worked for a previous events company. I was a mum, still am, a mum of three. But at the time they were at school and I was looking for sort of part-time work. Lisa sort of suggested that come on board with regards to being sort of an admin role for that event company. So we were there, and then our boss decided to downsize, and we found ourselves sort of looking for work. We both went for interviews. You had a horrible telephone experience, didn't you?
Yeah, gosh, that was 10 years ago now. I don't think, we wouldn't be allowed to get away with it today, but because I opened up with the words of being made redundant, which was obviously the truth, it was for a sales role. It was a telephone interview with one of the directors, and he said, well, how are you going to beat your job? You can't be doing very well in sales if you've been made redundant.
Oh, wow. Jesus.
So I finished that, and that was quite a big company. So yes, that put me off. I thought, well, if that's the way the world's going to be, and I had a company sales background, it was like, well,
We were pretty much self-sufficient in the roles that we were doing previously. And I didn't want to go back to being managed and having the KPIs and the rest of it. So it was a case of now or never. And we both decided to take the leap, the jump.
So it was more of a case of why not? I think, it is very, very scary because we've all got mortgages to pay. Girls were still relatively young at the time. And there's big responsibilities, but I looked at other peers, people, that had started, and as I say, even with Sonia, who we used to work with, and it was just like, well, why can't we? And if you don't try, you don't find out. And we had very little to set up on, to be honest with you, but we had our knowledge. Gail, actually, you've got a degree in travel and tourism as well.
Yeah.
Obviously, that was your background before you became a mum. And yeah, it was just a case of why not? There wasn't actually any good reason apart from, what about salaries? So for a while we were doing a bit of part-time work just to bring in a few dingo dollars, weren't we? We actually found work quite quickly, and because we knew we could do the workshops and we could advertise those, that's sort of how we set off, really.
And integrity as well, wasn't it? You didn't want to sort of take any clients or anything, so we started.
Oh no, I would never do that. No, we've got a really good relationship with our old boss. We're not even competitors because we set up slightly different to what the company was doing, but we actually do work for her now, and she does stuff for us. And lovely lady, she's like family, really, isn't she? It just suited her at the time because she's got a young family, and as you well know yourself, you can't have everything all at the same time. And I think for women, it's more difficult. You know yourself, running a business as a man. But for women, I think it's even more difficult. And Sonia was it was getting crazy, wasn't it?
Yeah.
And your children do have to come first. There's no point in having them if you're not going to do that.
Definitely.
So that was the basis, really.
So when that started, were you scared?
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Did you tell each other?
I nearly swore then.
No.
It's a weird situation. I think because there's the 7.5 year gap between Gail and I
am the youngest.
So I think I'm always the more optimist, glass half full, and I'm more of I'm crazy about Richard Branson. I love his philosophy, say yes, worry about it later, and enjoy the challenge. But I felt that responsibility to Gail that, oh gosh, if this doesn't work, being big sister. But there's a skill set. Everybody says, oh, you must fall out. Of course, we, have there's spats and things that we don't agree on sometimes, but that's bound to happen. And the good thing is when you're family, there's no sulking as such. It's over and done with. You have to agree to differ. But we've got different skill sets. And if we weren't sisters, I would choose her as my best friend. Because she's, I won't say that. So, but yeah, she's got a really good skill set. And hopefully she thinks the same about me. So it just worked, didn't it?
It blends.
It blends. Yeah.
It blends. We blend. We blend all together.
Yeah.
Like a smoothie maker.
Yeah, it was scary. And I think the main pressure, and it's something I've been thinking a lot about lately, was what friends and family would say. It wasn't anything else. It was having that belief in yourself, and even our own mum, well, what are you going to do about money? There's all these questions, and that was worse. That affected me more than anything else. That I didn't care about, what other companies might think or anything like that. It was looking a fool. And the same probably with Rog as well. I mean, he was very supportive. He really was and always has been. But you don't want to let him down, because I was bringing in a decent salary as well. And, as I say, we didn't really start.
Yeah, and I think having your own business still, regards to cash flow and when your next, sort of penny going to come in with regards, because we've still got mortgages and things to pay. So, it is still scary, and especially, with the war, at the moment, and we've just had an event cancelled due to people, clients coming over from the Middle East, and, they just can't.
Oh, it had to be the cancellation.
Well, yeah, through the flight.
Like COVID, and the phone rings or an email rings, and you're like, Okay.
But we were more fortunate during COVID because we had a medical training client.
Yeah.
The vaccines that
Well,
kept us
really
sort of going.
pivoted.
So,
No, it is interesting.
You mentioned like friends and family. Do you still get the question of when are you going to get a real job?
I think so.
none of us out there.
Yeah. I think there is sometimes, and I think you've got your peers, friends that I've known for years that I love dearly, and some of them are in very, 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 very well-paid jobs and have climbed a big corporate ladder. And yeah, you almost sort of feel that you're down at the bottom a little bit, although they're very sort of supportive. I know a couple of people that have gone really, really corporate, and they're kind of not that you're playing at it, but they can't take it too seriously. It's like, oh yeah. And it's just really weird things sometimes where you might say to them, look, if you're going away somewhere, we can get you an agency rate, or you get you a dinner or a free Friday, or perhaps they want to go away. And I get why they want to do it themselves, but we often say, feel free to give us a call, or if you've got friends or family, and they don't. It's like they're embarrassed, or we've sort of said, is there any way we can get in with your company? We'd love to put a conference and team build, because being an old-fashioned girl, you go to your warm contacts and then sort of work backwards. And yeah, we haven't had any work through any close contacts or family, have we? And we've got people that work for really nice sized.
I'd say I'm exactly the same. When I first started out, I went to family. Like, I can do your accounts. I can do so much better. I can change it. I can revolutionize what you're doing. You're using pen and paper. They weren't interested. They didn't want, and I think I kind of get it from a monetary point of view. You don't like people knowing what you're earning and stuff like that. But I still have friends actually have been a lot more supportive. Family have been obviously immediate, like my mum and dad. There's different like aunties, uncles and stuff like that. They've got businesses, still don't use us. Yeah. I think it's a strange one, isn't it?
And I would just say definitely with you, because accountancy is so important, and trust is a big word, isn't it, in your get? I mean, we're sort of finding that ourselves, or as we had a quick discussion before we went on air, that, you can't be good at everything. Our craft is doing events and maths. I mean, my maths teacher would have a laugh now, but I actually sit and do the VAT and use spreadsheets. And I mean, I don't like it, don't get me wrong, but I've had to learn to do it. And I'm quite proud of myself to some extent. But the rest of it would be like, hand it over, but also to get support and advice. Yeah, it's
and that's where the blend comes in, as you do the finance side, please.
Yes, yeah, absolutely.
I shy away.
But I don't know whether people, as you say, embarrassed, or as you say in yours, because it's such a personal thing to do with money. I should get that. But yeah, your ego goes down a little bit, because you think, well, do you think we're going to let you down, that we're not going to be very good? But then it makes you fight harder.
Yeah, exactly that. And we deal with businesses 10 times the size and stuff like that now. And it was just really tough at the beginning. I almost felt bitter or like upset towards it. Like, have I done something? I think now it's water under the bridge, but yeah. So I guess if we go back then, as kids, what was the dream? Was it to run a business together?
No.
Gosh.
Probably Donny. On the aeroplanes, I think, for a long time. Hence the reason why I went into travel and tourism, to see me getting up the aisle on the plane now with the trolley. But yeah, no, it wasn't that. And you've had various roles, haven't you?
Yeah, I had a bit of a weird background. I mean, again, the older you get, you start reflecting and you think, I mean, I was almost bulldozed into doing nursery nursing. At the time, it was the NNMEB. They've got rid of that now. It was quite an elite nursery course. And I thought, maybe teaching midwifery. And when I was at school, I wanted to join the RAF and be a nurse. That was something I'd looked into. And then I wanted a bit of a gap year before doing any further education. And then I sort of fell into working for a commercial photographer. And I was just going to save money so I could go skiing for a year and things like that. But there was something as time went on, basically, that I thought, no, I would love to have my own business. I'm quite entrepreneurial, but just never had the confidence at the time to do it. And I didn't know what I wanted to do. But even now, my main aim, and I actually get quite emotional about it, actually, is I wanted to be successful so I could be I can't even say the word, philanthropal, to be able to give something back and support charities or people that really need things. Because again, it's like a bit like Richard Branson or Joe Malone. When you build up that kind of money and you can share it and give it back, that's what I'd love to do. But also to be a really good employer. That's why Gail and I really want to try and push and get to the best that we can be, because we'd love to take people on and be able to show how to run a company, how to look after your employees and get a good name for being like that. That's quite important, isn't it, for us, really?
Yeah.
And to leave a legacy for the family as well, hopefully. So we sort of care about it, but we want to expand it. I'm not talking multi-million. I mean, that would be lovely. Obviously. I mean, I've joked. So I have said, I'm on 50 this year. If I get to 60,
Sorry, what was that?
and then we do pay when I'm 60, then it'll be game over. Even if it's a second house, I'm 2 years old. That's my goal. I've
That's
got
the
a big
goal.
thing about it. You know,
Hold it, you heard it here first.
yeah.
Fine.
What with regards to us working together and
Yeah, or just, as you say, sort of like that dream of being a trolley dolly.
yeah, the trolley dolly, or it was going to be a travel rep, wasn't it, for a while? There was always sort of travel, but then I think once I had the children and things, it was just
Yeah, you have to be a mum, don't you?
yeah. Never say never, and I still hope that I've got time to obviously do some travelling and things. But working for yourself, it gives you luxuries as well with regards to being able to set your own timings, and yeah, it's just nice to be able to. Yeah,
Uh, being a business owner, it's private jets, it's flashy holidays, a luxurious life, isn't it? That's all it is. And a beach in Thailand this morning.
It's hard graft, as you well know. You're not clocking in at 9 and finishing at 5. And sometimes I think we should practice more what we preach with the mental health workshops and things like that. Because we were saying all the days of when it was just a fax machine and when you went home, you didn't think about work in the evening then. If something was urgent, you sent a courier. Now we're all on our emails. We can check them 11 o'clock at night. We all...
Yeah. Wake up in the night, you check your phone. Oh my God, I've got that. I need to do this. On holiday, I'm just gonna check nothing's come through.
Holidays.
Yeah, I really tried to switch off now. It's taken a while and it's not come easy, but I really try and not check my emails when I go away. If I'm away with the family, I'm away with the family. Exactly. I've got a big thing about being present. So I want to be present in every situation I'm in.
That's nice.
I'll hold my hands up. I'm not. Sometimes I'll be on my phone. And it was a couple of years ago, my daughter said to me, "Daddy, you're always on the phone." And it was like, oh my God, that's a 2-year-old that's just told me I'm on my phone. Like I need to not be. And as I say, like it still has moments when I pick it up, but yeah, it's trying to move away from it. You mentioned kind of having spats. So you two are business owners, you share the business.
Yeah.
And I think every partnership, every business has spats, but how do you stop that from causing a problem outside of work, or like, family get involved, or is that a thing or not?
I mean, a spat is a spat. It's usually sort of over and done with quite quickly. It's never sort of involved or encroached on our work or anything like that. And it usually involves me saying sorry, to be honest with you, because I have to hold my hands up and say, yeah, I've had my little strop and I've had my straps, and just, yeah.
Yeah, no, I think it's sort of 50-50. I think we work really hard at business has got to be business, as you just said. And then, I had 15, 16 over at Christmas. We had all the family work stops. We don't even mention it.
You don't talk about it at all?
No. We keep that sister time. Because the thing is, it is a bit of a weird thing. Because, I mean, of late we've worked more remotely. Gail's got a cabin in the garden, and so have I. And we used to meet up every day, didn't we? We sort of taking turns because you can bounce ideas off each other. And then as time's gone on and we've had other family commitments and things, we sort of work more separately. But it's important to have that sister time. I know it sounds really silly. So even when we were seeing each other every day, it was all work. And I've got my 3 nieces that are my, complete life. I love them. I didn't have children. So to me, they are, my extra family. Yeah, it's sort of looking out for them. I mean, obviously when they were younger, helping out with school runs, having them stay over. I've actually got the youngest one staying with us at the moment.
Yeah.
And so we're all really close, aren't we? And they've got involved in helping us with events. They're very interested. And of late, it's been difficult to find family time, hasn't it? I mean, I even moaned to Gail. I said, I really miss you at the weekend. You and Mark don't come over on a Friday night, or Mark's busy on a Saturday. It's like, I'd like to actually see you, sit and have, because we love food and drinking, don't we? And
Which fits with the events.
yes, yeah, exactly. But yeah, just sort of having family time, wasn't it?
Yeah.
So,
Yeah,
it's
nice.
strange.
Yeah, we park it.
yeah, no, we do park it. And it's only natural, as I say. Sometimes it's a build up, sometimes it's just pure stress. We're feeling it at the minute, with the cancellations, there's money, worries, cash flow, all those things you have to talk about and be realistic. And it does. You sort of think, well, you do something about it. Well, so what's the you get in the bowl?
You get in the bowl.
But yeah,
Yeah,
and we go back, she'll fight back. And then I'll say, well, you can do some business development though, but that's all I'm good at. And, it's like, well, if you want the money that bad enough, then you will get on to it, and it's that, and then it's all over. Then we have a glass of wine.
And then it gets better or worse. Who knows? Depends how many.
Exactly. Only that's after an event, isn't it? When we're working hard and then we're like, glasses.
Usually after we've mobilised it sort of doesn't have the wines, and yeah,
it's a release, isn't it? Really, and then it brings you back down to earth, because otherwise, as you well know, what's it all about? And we have had the conversation. Do we pack it all in? Do we just say that's it and go get a well-paid job, top up the pension, get a company car, do Monday to Friday? But I don't think I could work for anybody anymore. I think I'd find that difficult, doing KPIs and seeing things that are going wrong and not being able to do anything about it. I don't think it would work. Yeah, and it's all the effort. It's, it is like having another baby that you've nurtured, and we've implemented it, and we started from nothing, and we're bloody good at what we do.
Yeah.
But COVID, and as I say, things that are going on at the minute, hospitality is really struggling, and it's so sad to see. Whether it be a small cafe, it's just all the costs and things that have gone up. Right? Everybody thinks, oh, pubs and hotels, of course it is that, but it's a lot more to hospitality, and we bring in billions to the economy. Shouldn't it? No.
Soon.
Yes, exactly, very, very soon. But to see hotels going under and people moaning about rates, what they're charging at the minute, it's frightening. Before you open your hotel door, how much that room has cost to actually get served ready with a lid, do you know what I mean? The sort of changing over the cleaners, and even the coffee. It's just,
electricity.
it's ludicrous and it's scary. But we'll just have to buckle down and weather the storm. And of course, people's expenses have been put back. You'll know that as an accountant. I mean, even on petrol, saying to staff, well, you can't get the trains at the moment, and it's
a tough place to be at the moment. I think me personally, I find I'm maybe before COVID, all I wanted to do was work from home, work remotely, have that, all that life. Since COVID, I want more in-person events. I want to see people. It's the human interaction that makes a difference. It's the face-to-face. Zoom, Skype, the online video calls, they're okay, but they're not the same. It's not, It doesn't beat human interaction. Do you think other people are doing that at the moment? Like, people want to go to events more? I guess you're in that space.
Yeah, it's variable, isn't it, really? I think a lot of the blue chips are trying, if they haven't got rid of their offices, they want their staff back in again. But there are some, as you rightly say, that want and need that. It's not for everybody to work from home. I mean, I know quite a few people actually that said, I couldn't do what you do. However, every day is different for us. We'll be at the laptops one day, then we're visiting hotels or running an event or doing a workshop. And that's why we love what we do as well. No day's the same. We can't do boring 9 to 5 routine being penned in. I think the hybrid, the 50-50 thing works for most people, but it's still lacking with, you know, a lot of the human resources people that we speak to say that they're struggling with the staff because they're feeling that they're out of the loop, that they're not feeling as involved, and productivity's actually gone down. And I think it's all about with staff being valued, and it's not about getting a £2 pay rise necessarily or getting the bonuses. It's not monetary at all, is it? It's being valued, and you know that as a business owner, to get the best out of your staff, let them know that they are valued, that you care about them. You know, that's missing a lot, I think, at the minute with a lot of HR. And it's bad practice, I think, with people that are made managers that haven't managed people before. So even if it's a blue chip and it's somebody looking after a team of 20 to 30, they might be good at their job and know their product, but they don't know how to manage their teams. And that's why, again, things that we do, and of course other event companies as well, I think is really important. It's not about just going down the pub, or there's nothing worse. The analogy I always give it is my dear old dad, bless him, he died years ago, but his birthday was the day after mine. So it shouldn't be difficult to forget my birthday. But he did. And he would turn up and it would be like the half-dead flowers from the petrol station, you know, that afterglow. And to me, it's like, just be honest, just say, cop cops, and we can have a laugh about it. And companies that do that kind of event, and everybody knows that they're not spending the money or they don't care and they're just ticking boxes, get doing it. If you're going to do it well and do it with heart.
So I guess on that then, companies that do it well, what's the best event you've ever been to?
Or possibly
Both. Your favourite event that you've done and the favourite event that you've been to, and why?
going through the memory box.
Well, I suppose the main one is there was, I'm just trying to think what we did. It was the working with Spike Games Best. They were absolutely brilliant.
Menopause for women. I know, because you're doing all the things.
Yeah, and it was actually before we set up, but it always just stands out of my mind because we had a helicopter that arrived and they came down SAS style.
Wow.
They kidnapped the boss and they had to go to ransom. It was just an amazing day, and seeing the team have absolute fun with that was incredible. And that was extravagant. Another one I used to love doing, actually, and I wish we could do more, is down on the Solent with the speedboats.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, I love boats and water. So I'm always saying, well, you know, this is when budget's no object, which isn't the case at the moment. But, you know, hiring a sunseeker, having a meeting on there, taking them out, or doing a treasure hunt on the ribs, going around, you know, Cowes and the Isle of Wight. Anything like that, I really, really love. But doing our own chocolate making and our perfume workshops, whether it's for 20 or 200 people, is seeing people have a good time. And I think if you're in hospitality, that's what the rewarding thing is and the best thing. So I'm over talking now, but I'm just thinking about it. It's such a good question. The best thing for me ever is when you do your greeting. Good morning, welcome, lovely to see you all. And you sort of say what you're going to do. And normally I have to say, I'm sexist, but it's a man. It's really long face. But here we go. And some of the women, yeah, and really just say, well, you're going to make me do this, you're going to make me do that. And after you've done a really good event, they come up and they say, that was lovely, brilliant. Thank you so much. I really enjoyed it. And I was like, I do a little kitchen dance, I call it, because you feel like you've won and it's like, great. So that's always the best event for me, when people have really enjoyed it.
Yeah, it's not the most expensive or the all singing, all dancing. Sometimes it's just the little things that can really have a big impact. And you say,
we've gone to some amazing places, haven't we? I mean, you know, I'm even to be lucky enough to go to the Shangri-La or to the Shard or some of the lovely Red Carnation boutique hotels in London. Yeah, I mean, we've seen some amazing places and stayed in some amazing places. And we've also done the budget as well. Normally, if we're
I was going to say as well, so some of the 5-star always amazes me. So you go to the 5-star venues and you think, yeah, this is going to be all singing, all dancing, and you're going to have the best customer service and you're going to have the best time ever. And it's not necessarily the case. Sometimes you can have the least customer service and it's almost
you're
got
disappointed. Yeah.
almost got sort of like a, well, this is who we are type thing. And
some things can be really overrated, but because Gail and I do so many of what we call the fab trips and go and visit venues and do another networking, you know, because we'll never just pick a hotel. We don't just Google. I think people go, oh, venue finding. You just Google, I can do that. I can go on booking.com. Doesn't work like that at all. So you get to know the venue, the staff, you know, all of that has to be taken into consideration. So yeah, there's some very, very elite places that have cost a lot of money that you sort of think, that wasn't quite there.
Yeah. You know, and the staff in there have been just lovely, haven't they? And really personable. Yeah. So it amazes me how the industry sort of can get it so wrong.
Do you think so? There's no real hard and fast rule on that. It's just purely down to the right people in the right places.
Yeah, absolutely. I think it's it is tailor making. It's understanding your client's requirements, getting to know them. And there's so much pressure now, so much pressure, as I say, with HR. The latest one is trying to find venues that are only 25 to 30 miles away from the office, isn't it? Because a lot of people are saying, look, and Gail and I are in this situation ourselves, the sandwich generation, where you've got elderly parents that are needing a lot more help, and you might have grandchildren. So they're saying, you know, I've got to get back, or if there's an emergency call, don't put me 4 hours or on a plane to EasyJet up to Scotland. I need to be able to go home and perhaps come back to the conference. Things like that are sort of affecting it a lot more, aren't they, of late? I mean, sustainability is sort of big one. University, that's quite big, where you know, people are getting diagnosed more now when they're older with ADHD, autism, which I didn't realise they'd got. So we've even had requests for finding bedrooms or hotels that don't have busy carpets, or when they have special rooms where we can put in something sort of sensory, or make sure they've got blackout blinds. And it's very interesting to look at some of the list that comes in now. It gets bigger and bigger, doesn't it?
On that then, what's the most interesting request you've had for an event?
Well, I don't know. The one that sticks out to me is the conference up in Manchester, where you had to organise the food. We went away from, I can't think of what the kosher.
Yeah, that was quite interesting. So it was a large conference for a medical client. Normally, you've obviously got your dietaries, whether it's, you know, vegetarian. But yeah, there was quite a few of the employees that were Jewish. And that was something that we really had to investigate and understand well, didn't we? Get outside caterers, because even though it was a large hotel, you obviously can't cook the meat in the same oven that obviously pork and other things have been in. And it actually was quite interesting to sort of find out how and when the food could be delivered, when they could actually eat it against other people that were obviously going to have the gala dinner. Yeah, that was quite a tall order, wasn't it, to get it done correctly and understand it, you know. But I suppose
seating, not being sat next to a certain person.
Yeah.
Do you get that a lot then?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, it's quite surprising actually. You get given a sort of a list of various people that aren't getting on. But however, if there is going to be a team build, we tend to say to people, look, you better to actually put them together.
Put them together.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely, because you just kind of go caving in. But yeah, we did. It's people sometimes have got a champagne taste on the beer man's wallet. I mean, there was that other client that the brief just came in. Oh, it's for 45 people, but we just need to be near a castle. So it can be anywhere in the UK. I was like, oh, why do you need to be near a castle? It's because some of the Americans are coming over and don't like it. So it's just, yeah, but what's the conference going to be about? What are you trying to achieve from it? Just because it's near a castle, you know, it's just weird, isn't it? Just the requests that do come in sometimes.
How little information comes in. You're just like, you need a starting point from somewhere. Just a castle in the UK is, for this amount of people is a starting point, but we need a little bit more information.
And normally it's budgets. I mean, sometimes somebody will come along and say, right, we've got, I don't know, 20k, 30k, 200,000, whatever. And that's great, because you can straight away say, well, this will work here, that will work there, or not. Because if you put in what we call an RFP, a request for proposal, you can spend a lot of time because venue finding is actually done for free per se. And then the way that our sort of cash flow works is that the hotel gives you commission. So that doesn't affect actually the rate, because we can negotiate really good rates as well. So essentially, we're actually working for free doing the venue finding. So if it's a brand new client, you can spend hours putting something together and a proposal. And if they decide to go off or go to a competitor, you've done it for nothing.
Yeah.
So, I think we've got to sort of start looking at how we actually do that. But that's going off track. But it's handy for us to know roughly, I suppose, out through experience, what will work and where will offend some people, where it won't. There was a sort of a theatre that was trying to put sort of like a drag artist thing together, wasn't there? And that was quite funny with them being quite diva actually, weren't they, as well? Where they would stay, who would share rooms. It never ceases to amaze me. We've got such a cross section of clients.
And then we had venue that had a lot of it was a police venue, and we had to be careful with that particular client because of their background with regards to member of the party.
Oh, their heritage. Yeah. They really liked their venue. It was the Police Social Club in Bushy Metropolitan, isn't it?
Yeah.
And it was a big Jamaican community, but because of the photographs and some of the paintings of heritage and obviously what went before us, it was nearly booked, but they sort of said, "Oh no, we'd actually offend people," and it's awful because you're not, discriminative yourself. Do you know what I mean? As two decent human beings, and as you will be, that somebody then has got that issue that it affects people. Do you know what I mean? No, and you felt a bit green around the gills, but then it's kind of like, would you offend somebody if you started asking all of those questions? Something else to add to the list is like, well, why would I be offended? Do you know what I mean? In Berlin, where we did the job with the lovely Alex, we were talking about the Berlin Mall, weren't we?
Yeah.
And it was a lovely hotel, putting the whole thing together. But we were saying to him, how do things sort of affect you now? Have you got the new generation that want that history and, sort of still respect, obviously, the history that's gone on before? And he was saying 30s and under don't want to know about it. They want to forget that history.
Right.
That's quite interesting, isn't it? And in some ways, that's a good thing. It's about moving on, but then not forgetting.
Yeah. I think it's nice to have an awareness of it, but you don't want it to affect you or to shape you or to change.
Because who we are today is, saying that, what's going on in the Middle East. And
we won't go too far. That's a dangerous one.
Yeah, I'm just always amazed in our jobs, and when we're talking to our peers and things that come up and you think, gosh, I wouldn't even have thought. But you can't know everything. You have to learn, don't you? Every day's a school day. That's what we say.
It's like the 360 tours in the hotels, wasn't it? And Gaston Martins, and how they have to be careful as to what they're showing within the hotels with regards to, the various CCTV and camera points. And so they're having to sort of change that now and blur images out and things like that, so that it can't be so straightforward to see.
Cause an issue. Funnily enough, I went to India last year and I was kind of walking along and they said, "Oh, did you see that film where the hotel was it blown up or like in Mumbai?" They were like, "That's there." I was like, "Oh my God, that's it." Like, yeah. And it was fascinating to see. But that got compromised for something. I can't remember quite the film on it, but yeah. So I guess they have to hide certain things. So I guess that brings me on nicely then. What's been your biggest failure so far?
Too many to mention.
I think it would possibly be not being able to being caught in a rock and a hard place with regards to trying to spin so many plates, because you're either, it's just the two of us. We've got a couple of freelancers, but it's, doing the proposals, doing the actual workshops, doing the actual events, event managing, putting things together, doing the accounts. And you get so busy doing some of those things, you actually forget about the business development side, actually bringing on new clients. And it would be lovely we knew that it would be lovely to take somebody on, but because of cash flow, we couldn't. And I would hate to be in that situation of taking
It's
somebody
something
on and then
going.
in 6 months' time, do you know what I mean? I'm so I'm really sorry, it's just not working out. And we could probably have done with some help from a decent accountant, which is why, I speak to you to advise and to perhaps look at things in a different way. Would you say?
Yeah, and I think you learn as well, don't you, with regards to getting things wrong.
Yeah.
Or I'd like to think that we do. And I think at the early stages, naivety, perhaps with regards to we thinking that we needed up singing, up dancing sort of websites, and we've been burned several times in the last 10 years with websites and SEO, spent numerous amounts of times trying to change that and everything else. And as it stands, we would probably be better off starting off with keeping with the same one that we had all these years ago, and then just sort of changing it again now with regards to sort of AI coming into play and things. But I think naivety at the beginning, and the fact that we're spinning so many plates that, as Lisa says, the business development side has probably not been happening, which you need to obviously be able to carry on doing what you want to be doing. And sometimes, it can be frustrating, can't it? Because we know that we need to be doing the social media and we need to be doing, but it's just like, well, what, sort of platform should we be using? And it's just like, there's all these different information that comes in and sort of hits you. And it's just like, and you can't spread the net too far, because otherwise you just, going to burn out. So
Companies that are set up themselves, to do with regards to, marketing, social media, what platforms to use. And you can go to all these business events and sit there and talk about avatars and what's that HR person doing at 9 o'clock at night. And as I keep saying, she or he is not looking on TikTok or Insta or they saying, oh, I've got to think about that team builder, the event company. Do you know what I mean? It's just, we're a bit of a funny fit as to where we are, what we do. We're not just a one trick pony.
Yeah.
And that's been quite hard, isn't it, to target. I mean, we didn't want to put all of our eggs into one basket, and we did do a bit of culling, didn't we?
we did, but we are multifaceted with regards to the things that we deliver. So it's just like, well,
We work with different industries. Some people hone in on one particular industry, whereas we didn't ever want to do that, because if things do go a little bit, it's like they are at the minute, but at least if you've got a few different industries, you can hedge your bets a bit.
You can adapt.
Pivot.
So let's flip that then. What's been your biggest success?
Just think all of the events and starting from scratch. It's just the whole thing, and that 10 years in, we're here. And it's been a big roller coaster ride, isn't it? But
One hell of a roller coaster.
and to start from nothing, because I mean, in our game as well, there's a lot of people that are on the hotel side that will leave because everybody thinks that they can do menu finding, and they'll perhaps have a couple of key clients that they've been taking and poaching ready to start. And as I say, we started from nothing, didn't we? So as far as that's concerned, that will always be one of the biggest successes, just starting from nothing and taking that leap of faith. And every event we do, I think when we get we've had some lovely testimonies, haven't we? And we get an amazing feedback, and that's always great success. That makes me happy if I know that I've done a good job.
Yeah, and being recognised for that.
Yeah, and we've got a couple of little awards and things, haven't we? And nothing big major, but again, it's been acknowledged by your industry peers, and that's been really lovely.
Yeah.
That you've been taken, seriously, or that you're
You've done this family, though. I'm not bitter. I'm not bitter.
No, I completely agree. If you could go back to the beginning then, would you do it all again?
Yes.
Yes, 100%. Yeah. To probably do things
Differently.
a bit differently. Yeah. And I think sometimes stick with your own guns and instinct and know when something's not right, or somebody's giving you advice that you something not knee jerk, but as I said, we got burnt by a company in particular, didn't we?
Yeah.
Quite a lot of money, and when there's it's almost like you're being in a bad marriage. There's just a ick. It doesn't
the
hit.
synergy is not there.
And it's just like, they're handing over the money and letting you down. And then there was a big fallout, wasn't there? And we lost quite a bit of money for us. Well, I think to anybody it would have been. And that's sad. I just think working with genuine people, And keeping integrity is important. I want to put my head on the pillow at night. There's a lot of competition, I'm sure. It's the same in your industry as well. And, you know, you'll sometimes say to a client, have you gone anywhere else? Please feel that you can tell us. And, oh, no. And then you'll see on a chain of emails or whatever they've just said, take another 10, 15% off. And you go, oh, here we go. Or sometimes you'll get competitors. You can sometimes tell with an inquiry that it's more of somebody just being nosy to see what we send or perhaps how you're going to price it. And I thought those days had long gone, but that's coming back.
Rearing its ugly head again.
Right.
So there was a unity sort of during COVID, and I'm sure it's not just within our sort of industry with regards to really sort of helping each other out. But now the backstabbing seems to be sort of rearing its ugly head again, and just sort of a little bit sort of. I suppose they're the big guns, and those that they seem to be sort of snapping up quite a bit.
Yeah, I think it's like anybody, no matter what industry you're in, the way that I look at it, and maybe it is too basic. It's like even the boys that started up Tesco started off with a barrow on the street. Do you know what I mean? Every company, Richard Branson started out at the back of his boot. And when some of these other companies do start to escalate and then get bigger and bigger, and then other companies sort of get drawn to them, it's like, don't forget some of the smaller companies that are actually underneath that can still give you a personal service, dealing with two directors that will see you from the beginning through to the end, literally hold your hand if you want. And even with the staff members that we use, they have the same ethos as us. We like to train them in that manner, don't we? There's particular things that are really important. Customer service really has to be. You don't get that in the cold light of day with being a preferred supplier, or get to the point where you're so big that you just don't care. And that's always got to count, hasn't it?
Yeah.
More than ever, I think.
And then going forward then, where do you see yourselves in the future?
Wow. Lisa, what's our Bentley Cooper? Cooper. So, and bringing on staff.
Expanding the company, that would be really lovely. That would be, as I say, I've got 10 years, I think. Got to work to 68 anyway because of the pension. I mean, we've got a couple of our industry peers that are working in their 70s, aren't they? And they still love it. I mean, it's knackering for them. And it's, don't get me wrong, sometimes we've done an 18-hour day. I'm starting to feel it. I think moving forward to expand and keep a legacy for the girls. So who knows? It'd be nice to think perhaps we could even employ a couple of them.
Yes. Yeah, no, that would be lovely if they wanted to. Have their mum and their auntie. But,
just be a bit more industry led. I mean, we'd love to get a lot more involved. I mean, we're a member of the AIEA, Alliance of Independent Agencies, and there's some other governing bodies, and we'd love to get more involved with them. So there's a code of conduct as well to help other people in the industry, and just be sort of more involved with something we're still really passionate about. And I think as long as that passion is there, then that means that we've got the fire in the belly and enjoy everything that you do, and look forward to meeting new clients and getting them on board and coming up with new ideas, because that's always great, isn't it? When people are really stuck, we've done 4x4 driving, we've done that throwing.
Yeah, the think tank.
We've got it. Yeah, that's what we're more known for, isn't it? It's just like, gosh, I haven't even thought of that. So yeah, that's good.
I might have to pick your brains on that as well at some point. We've done an event with you before, and that's been great. And then we've tried to keep up and do other events and stuff like that. So yeah, definitely it's hard to continuously think of something. You mentioned like bringing the kids in and possibly like getting them involved in the business. Would you advise them to go out on their own?
Or start their own business?
Or would you, let's say just a kid now, they come to you, want some advice. Do you start a business? Do you not? What would you do?
Well, considering they're still pretty much at home, I mean, they obviously sort of pay a little bit of rent and things, but and everything else over your head. And why not try it is what I would say to anybody.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I'm sort of torn. It's funny because my friends that have got, the kids that have gone through uni and now they're sort of saddled with these awful loans, and I'm thinking of one in particular. He's such an academic, have done so well that he really resents having gone to uni and wishes that he'd done an apprenticeship. And I think there's something to be said for going out into the world first, whether that doing your books thing or, going backpacking or working for a company just to get some commercial sense around you. Because not everybody knows what they want to do they? I mean, it's like me, I've sort of flitted around, and I used to help out Worktree, actually, volunteering going in with the schools and talking to the kids. Have you done
I
that?
absolutely love Worktree.
I used to love it. And seeing their little faces panicking about GCSEs and all of those things, and just saying that, just because you don't know what you want to do now, it's fine. Just do the best that you can. Life has a habit of sometimes just turning around. Try something first. If you don't like it, move on. We're not a culture of you've got to go and work in a bank because that's a stable career. Do you know what I mean? You haven't got that many GCSEs, or you're dyslexic, so you'll probably end up in a factory, that kind of, don't even get me started on it. There's some bright sparks out there. Some of them have got, intellectual brains, and we're not all meant to be brain surgeons. And there's some kids out there that are really struggling academically, that my goodness, they're as bright as anything, and they're the ones that will set up a business if they're given the confidence and they can be shown how to do it, whether it's mum and dad or college or somebody that can pick up. I think that's the main thing, isn't it?
Yeah.
And it's like with Gail's three, definitely. They are capable of anything. And even the youngest one, logistically, she's brilliant at management very, very early on, isn't she? You can really see a spark for her. And she'll have a good career ahead of herself if she believes in herself, which is why, really, with all three of them, I think there'll be a nice little number for them all to be involved in. If they want to, they might find an industry that they settle in. Let's see.
So they might not want mum and aunties.
Yeah. No.
That gets even more difficult when you're arguing.
Yeah, exactly. I know. And I think, because that's the other thing as well. I was thinking the other day, because over the years I have worked for some smaller companies, and, it's been family orientated, and it always used to be a nightmare if they'd fallen out, husband and wife team or three brothers, and it would make it really awkward. And that's something that we would have to be really mindful of, because, you've got to keep things separate, haven't you? And even as a small team, as you know yourself, I mean, things don't always gel, and you don't always get things right. But I think at the end of the day, it's kind of taken a bit of a step back, isn't it? And how you, again, manage people. We've had this conversation before. When you get the red, blue, green cards in the corporate world years ago, I used to have that. And, what colour are you going to be? And you used to be labelled. And I hated that, because corporately, I can be quite cold. If I need to make a decision or sit down and have a word, I can do it in a polite way. But falling out with people I love, like if we've got that spat, or I fall out with Rog or a friend, I hate it. I just can't bear it. It's funny, isn't it? So, and I think we're all sort of multifaceted, aren't we? We can sort of be the reverse.
Yeah, I mean, if I went through my journey, I used to be shy. I used to be scared of talking to people, probably a lot more stereotypical accountant. And now those that meet me kind of say, like, you're confident, you're not like that at all. But I've learned to adapt. I've had to, being the shy guy that stands in the corner and doesn't talk to anyone doesn't find work. Fortunately, it doesn't work like that. And I had to learn the hard way. And it's been, so I've had to learn and adapt and change in that process.
But you've done it though. But that's the thing. How do you do that? How did you just force yourself? Did you buy self-help books, or did you have a mentor? Or?
I focused on making myself uncomfortable. So I got comfortable being uncomfortable and pushing myself. I mean, so if I talk to you, networking, the first ever networking event I went to, it was at MK Casino. I've gone in, it was with MKFM. I didn't know anyone in the room. We'd just started, so a week into starting the business. But networking, that's where you go. That's what you do. That's how you get new work. Okay, great. Go. Nobody spoke to me. I didn't know anyone. I didn't speak to anyone. I pulled out my phone, pretending to have a phone call, went and sat on my phone for 10 minutes, came back, thought, no, I'm going to try this. I'm going to do it. Didn't talk to anyone again and went home. And that was my first networking event. Since then, I now, I try and talk to people. I try and pick people out. I also try and look for that person. If there's a person in the corner of the room that doesn't have anyone around them or anything like that, I try and find them and bring them in.
Nice.
Because I know what I know what it feels like. And also the person that first starting out, again, there was another person that said to me when we first started, I think I was 7. He was like, oh, that's cute. When I was 27, I sold my first business and I did this and I did that. And I was just like, you've just devalued me to nothing and said like, oh, it's cute. You've got a little business as a young person. I did take a little bit of pleasure in knowing that his business didn't quite work out and that I'm much bigger than he ever was. But
There you go. Then.
I think that speaks volumes. Like that was his view on other people, and putting people down was what worked for him. Whereas I want people to achieve their dreams. If they want to do it, there's ways of doing anything you want to do. It's just finding it and making it work. Yes, exactly that. So, yeah.
I think it's the opposite as well, where at these networking events or even in our industry, the brash, they're kind of like, well, come on, sell to me. What's your USP? They're the kind of people I shy away from as well. It's kind of like, as you say, you don't want to make somebody feel small. I don't believe now that it is about having the old school, biggest voice, get your strap line. I know there was somebody quite prevalent on LinkedIn, and he used to sort of say, I mean, he's great fun, really, really lovely. It's like, don't tell me you're lovely. This is I don't need to know how nice you are or what you've done, because I'll find out that myself. But people buy from people. And again, going back to the AI, who is that behind the mask? Who is that person? It's like, let's speak face to face,
Is it the word passionate or something?
Yes, don't use the word passionate. Whereas I think, passionate is a good word. It is something to be said about something if you really like something and you believe in it. And it's like, who are you really to say that not being passionate's not the right thing to say? So yes, I'm with you on that. It's difficult. Oh, brilliant. Well done you for going a bit like that. In actual fact, you're better now at networking, aren't you?
Yeah, I've always considered myself as a sort of an integral cog. So I like to be in there, and as you can probably tell today, Lisa likes to talk. But yeah, I've always been in the, sort of behind the scenes.
No, you say that. You are gobby when you want to
I can be gobby, but on a daily basis, perhaps in these sort of circumstances. And it's a good job because I, when it comes to workshops and things like that, I wouldn't want to present. I'm the, I have to be the sort of like the lackey that sort of packs the bags and gets everything.
Oh, give over!
You're just about to have a spat.
She always makes out that she's the Dobby in Harry Potter. Far from it, I get my hands dirty.
Oh, you get your hands
and craft
dirty.
all the kit together when you're at home having a cup of coffee.
I am the, integral sort of cog.
Well, we'll have to close it here.
Gloves!
Where's my boxing gloves?
We didn't bring them today. Sorry. So I don't know if you've heard of Diary of a CEO, but towards the end, or the last question I do is we ask these cards. So Stephen Bartlett, he does a podcast called Diary of a CEO, and they have all sorts of really quite personal questions, quite difficult questions. They're listed here. Yes, exactly. We're gonna take that even further now. But essentially what we're going to do is choose one card each and we'll go clockwise round. We'll ask that person the question. So who wants to go first?
You go.
So question, what is one mistake that you have made that you have been scared to address or reconcile?
A mistake I've made would be...
That's it today.
Yeah. I'm still trying to reconcile it now. No, I guess like when we've brought in staff, and I'd say I have a tendency to kind of expect people to know what I know. So I probably haven't trained people enough or haven't given them time, and I get frustrated. Like, why don't you know what I know? Because they've never done what I've done. So how are they supposed to? But I'd say that's probably my biggest mistake is I feel like I've let people down in the past that I haven't trained well enough, and then I've pulled them up on things that they haven't done or they've not done in the way that I'd want them to do it. And I think I've got to take responsibility for that that's actually my fault, or part of it is mine, and I need to address that. So I think that's probably the closest one I can come up with now.
Good. It's good that you're self-aware of that, though.
What about you?
It's difficult. I think sometimes my biggest mistake would be not saying how I'm feeling. Because, you know, you take a lot of pressures on, don't you? And, you know, when things are all going on, whether it's the business or family stuff, and yeah, we've had a real roller coaster of stuff. And I tend to be, and I often reflect on that, I suppose, because of the way, you know, I was sort of brought up, and as I say, probably the way that my parents kind of instilled into me being the eldest one, you know, kind of put your big girl's pants on and do it. And I have to put this thing on that it's like, it's okay, because everybody else is normally having a bit of a meltdown, and you're sort of thinking of them all of the time and forgetting to look after you. And then that reflects other things sometimes in how you handle things or what you want to do. So I think that's my biggest mistake, in not taking a step back and being a bit of my own best friend. So advice that I give to other people, take on yourself so that you can sort of just take a step back and not let the business suffer or relationship suffer. Do you know what I mean? Because you're constantly trying to be the cape woman. Do you know what I mean? I'll be there. And actually say, no, I can't do this at the minute. And no, actually is one of my mistakes, I would say.
Yeah, I would say that as well. You've been scared to address or reconcile. I've made plenty of mistakes, and I would like to think that I've probably addressed them.
Right.
Or reconcile, because I'm if I'd like to think that if I'd have done something wrong, then it would probably be heavy on me. So I would probably try and sort of do something at the time or have a think about it, or cry. Probably is my go-to. Yeah. So yeah, I can't think of anything really that I'd be scared to address.
So I'll go with mine then. Tell me something about yourself that nobody knows and would be surprised to know about you.
What a boring person, really. I don't think I know anything.
Tell me something about yourself that nobody knows and would be surprised to know about you. I guess not necessarily nobody knows, but maybe most people wouldn't know.
I haven't really got anything,
Little secret hobby.
I'm not selling socks or anything like that, although that might be a good idea with regards to OnlyFans or something like that. I've got tailoring on foot. Might get a bit more for that, I think. I'm not very good at this game, am I? I'm not scared to address a mistake. I'm open with regards to telling somebody that they...
I think the best thing I can come up with, which probably a few people do know now, but as a kid, I used to ride horses and I used to help break them in. So I used to do like stunt riding on the back of them, and I used to like stand up behind them and like all of that, and ride almost like a stunt rider.
See, there's nothing.
Most people don't know that about me. Some do, but yeah.
Do you still ride?
No, I haven't. So my mum used to have a horse trials in the Caribbean. So I went over there a couple of years ago, and I think that's probably the last time I got on a horse was about probably 6 years ago now. And it like in the sea with like swimming with the horses and stuff. It's really strange. Yeah. So no, I don't, but I still have. I grew up with horses, essentially.
Oh, wow. Well, no, to do an incentive then, don't we? Go ride the horses in the sea.
Get to Antigua.
Oh, that's amazing. Have you got, still love horses?
Yeah, I think so. I've still got a soft spot for horses. I just know it's expensive. It's a lot of hard work. There was, I still remember, almost trauma, but Christmases and stuff like that, we'd have to go and do the horses and stuff, and then we could open the Christmas presents, and then we could do that. So it was just almost growing up on a farm. The farm comes first, and unfortunately the animals do need feeding every day, and they do need looking after. You can't just ignore them. And I've almost gone full circle in that I don't want that. So yeah, I don't know. We'll see. If she wants a horse, I'm sure the grandparents will accidentally get one. So
I don't know really. I suppose I mean, it's quite good when you sort of said about sort of being a child and things. I suppose because I've been out of the game a long time, people that have probably known me over the last 15, 20 years, I was very much into amateur dramatics. It's sort of probably done over 300 plays, to be honest with you. I learnt a lot of lines and sung and danced and ended up sort of doing a bit of a semi-professional play. But it feels like I actually ended up getting quite bad stage fright after doing that. To be honest with you, and it knocked my confidence after going through a really bad marriage breakup as well. So I almost feel that that's another life now, but it's something I loved and I wished I could do now, but I know that I couldn't. But you know, when you miss something as well. So yeah, I think a lot of people that know me of late would be quite sort of shocked at, well, you remember some of the stuff we used to do.
Well, I was going to say that for you as well.
I still got all my scripts and things. And yeah, I don't, you know, had I all those years ago, I'd love to have done. Perhaps ventured more. I mean, at the time, it wasn't a career to have. And I suppose that's something I do regret that I didn't push maybe to perhaps go to stage school or something and perhaps take it all up. But yeah, and I've walked on hot coals.
See, I'm very bored. It's you too.
That was, interesting.
Did it hurt?
No, it is really, really weird.
Okay.
It's just that whole psyche of how they build you up, and then you just see it all alive, thinking this is going to be awful. What's going to happen? But because you see other people going first, then it's just incredible. I mean, I wouldn't want to walk too far. I mean, it's going to be about 6 foot.
Yeah.
But yeah, I was again because I was a bit nervous. I thought, this is a bit. But yeah. So no, I have done that.
Okay.
Oh, sorry. I'm so busy. So, Chris, where will you be in 5 years?
Driving that Bentley. Years. I guess the business will have grown. We will be, I mean, my kids will be older and causing trouble. Yeah, almost teenagers at that point. So probably I'll be in a home somewhere trying to recover. But no, I think it would just be growing the business. Will be a lot bigger. We'll be helping a lot more clients. We'll be very well known in Milton Keynes. We'll be, I guess, just more of the same. I focus. I do this a lot and talk about this a lot, and it brings me back to like doing stuff. So it's great for us. So I'd say it's just essentially more of the same of what we're doing. And hopefully I'll be a lot more present in every room that I'm in.
Yeah, that is good.
For me, 5 years' time, personally, I'd like to be married because I'm currently engaged. Maybe some more grandchildren. And I should say more babies. Don't think that'll be,
Grandchildren you can give back.
Yes, grandchildren. For us to be bigger and maybe have one of my daughters working with us, not for us, but with us. And we can maybe take a step back and just being, I don't want to be mega rich or anything like that. I would just like to be comfortable. I think 5 years' time, that's it, really.
Yeah, I mean, I think security, being that we sort of established and that you've expanded would be a good thing. I'm also with David that I think the older that I'm getting as well, about definitely being in the present and not forever looking into the future. I'm not, some of my friends are like, get the diary out, what are you doing July next year? And I go, it's supposed to be working events as well, but sometimes I find that a bit overwhelming. I'm concentrating on what I've got to get everything I lot tonight and cook. Do you know what I mean? It's just like, some days just putting one foot in front of the other. So
it's back to routine as well, isn't it? It's just like you get like some spontaneity.
Yeah. No, I am quite a spontaneous person. And I think, just for hopefully all my friends and family and people that I love to be healthy and well and happy. And just be in a situation where it's just like, okay, the first 10 years were bumpy. Yeah, we're further established. I think that's good. And hopefully, so 2 years for the first Bentley Coupe. 5 years, I'll be on a brand new Bentley Coupe with personal registration plate.
So on your second Bentley?
Yeah.
Well,
what colour?
Well, we're going to have the green and the purple for the logos, aren't we?
Yeah.
I'll contact you in 5 years then
Yeah.
to go for a drive.
Well, hopefully you'll be our accountant and we'll let me know if I can afford it.
But yeah. Brilliant. Well, thank you guys for coming on,
Thank you
And-
for having us.
and I'll close it there.